This is going to be an ultimate guide for Tank Doomfist. This guide will explain everything you need to know on Tank Doomfist, like what his abilities do, how they work, some tips and tricks on each ability, what his main job is, and how to get value out of the hero. This guide is made for both new and old Overwatch players, so if you want to skip around, I'll have a bunch of timestamps in the description of this video. Before I start talking about his abilities, damage numbers, and all that stuff, keep in mind that these abilities and numbers can change at any time. And one final thing before I get into the guide, if you're interested in learning Doomfist movement and his attacks, I have a whole playlist containing a bunch of videos located in the description of this video below. If you ever find this guide helpful, go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. So yeah, let's get started. We're gonna start with his passives. Doomfist has two passives, his hero passive and his tank passive. His hero passive is called the best defense. What this passive does is give you overhealth whenever you land your abilities on enemies. Overhealth is the green health that you see on your health bar. Enemies that deal damage to your overhealth will only gain 50% reduced ultimate charge. So that means they gain less ult charge for attacking your green health compared to your normal health. So let me give you an example on how to use his passive to gain overhealth. If you punch one enemy, you will gain 40 overhealth. If you punch two enemies, you will gain 80 overhealth, and so on. This same rule also applies to his slam ability. If you slam one enemy, you will gain 40 overhealth, two enemies, 80 overhealth, and so on. Doomfist's ultimate is slightly different. Instead of gaining 40 overhealth per enemy hit, he gains 75 overhealth per enemy hit. So if you hit 3 enemies with your ultimate, you will gain the maximum overhealth that you can gain on Doomfist, which is 200 overhealth. This means your total health pool can go as high as 650. Doomfist's second passive is his tank passive. Every tank in Overwatch 2 has this passive. What this does is reduce how far you get knocked back compared to other DPS and supports. And it makes your supports gain less ult charge for healing you, and it also makes the enemies gain less ult charge for dealing damage to you. Doomfist's primary fire. It's a projectile, it has the spread of a shotgun, and it automatically reloads. Its primary fire is deadly if you can land your shots consistently. You do have to be close to your enemies to land majority of the pellets, so if you're sitting at a slight range spamming shots, you won't deal that much damage. But I'm not saying to never shoot your primaries at a range, because it's better to shoot at a range than to not shoot at all. Hitting headshots with this thing is deadly. Try to prioritize headshots if you're close to your enemy, because this will delete their health. Doomfist Slam. His slam does 50 damage to each person that gets hit by it. Whenever you use Doom's slam ability, just be aware that your slam has travel time. If you're slamming at somebody that's at a slight range, it is possible for them to walk out of the range of your slam before it connects to them. Doomfist Slam can be useful for many things like escaping, engaging, or just to build some overhealth before a fight starts so you can be a little tankier. Now I am going to show you some tips and tricks that you could do with his slam ability. Let's start with how to gain height with his slam. You can change the way your character slams by looking at a different direction. The higher you look up, the higher you will slam. The lower you look up, the lower you will slam. You can also control your aerial movement with slam by using your movement keys while slamming in the air. Doomfist Slam used to have a slow effect when enemies were hit by it, but this was removed during the Overwatch 2 beta, which kinda sucks. But even though he doesn't have his slow effect anymore, Doomfist Slam can still stop some movement in the game, like a ball rolling. Winston leaping, Doomfist slamming, and some other heroes, but it's not as effective. Now let's talk about slam cancels. You can cancel slam with all of Doom's abilities, including slam itself. So for example, if you activate slam, you can press your slam button a second time to cancel it. This lets you carry your slam momentum, and it's very useful. You can also use your block ability right after using slam to maintain your slam momentum. You can also do it with rocket punch. You can even cancel it with your ultimate. Let me tell you why canceling slam with punch or block can be better than pressing slam twice. There is a small delay when you attempt to cancel an ability with itself, so if I were to press my slam ability twice, you can see I can't instantly cancel my slam, so technically I can't use the momentum from my slam at its full potential. But if I were to use my punch or block ability right after using slam, I can cancel my slam instantly, and because of this I can actually gain more height compared to pressing slam twice. Powerblock. So what does Power Block do? Power Block reduces the incoming damage by 80%, and if you mitigate 80 damage or more, your next Rocket Punch becomes empowered, which I will get into details later. If you use your punch ability, then use Power Block to mitigate 80 damage, you will get your punch cooldown back. Power Block shield is like Brig shield. If there's an enemy above you and you look at them, you will block their damage. If you are on high ground looking down at your enemy, you will block their damage. It is a frontal shield, so that means you can take full damage if you're shot from the sides or back. You want to be careful when you're using your Power Block ability because you can get CC'd. If you're power blocking, you can get slept, you can get rocked, you can get hooked, you can get javelined. So you want to be really careful with that. You can mitigate the damage from those CC abilities, so if you time it just right, you can get Empowered Punch when you get hit by these CC abilities. I also found a trick with Doom's Power Block where you can build it faster than normal. If you look slightly down, you'll expose your head hitbox, and that means they will do increased damage to you if they shoot your head, which also means you'll build your Power Block faster. Just make sure you aren't looking straight down or else you won't block anything. I have a separate video explaining this block tech in details, which you can find in this video's description. If you're looking all the way up or down as Doomfist, you will start to take full damage even though you're power blocking. If you're wondering why it works that way, when Doomfist is looking straight up, this is how his power block shield looks. Your leg and knee is kind of just open for free damage, and this damage right here does not get mitigated. I'm going to be explaining how power block works exactly because many players have been confused about it, and I also was confused about it back then, but not anymore. Cassidy does 70 damage per shot. When Cassidy shoots your power block, 80% of that damage is blocked / mitigated. So that means that you're not going to be taking 80% of the damage towards your health, and that damage goes towards your empowered punch. So 80% of 70, right? 80% blocked, 70 damage is 56. 56 goes towards your empowered punch. And then the 20% is going towards your health. So 20% of 70 damage is 14, right? And then 14 goes towards your health, so you lose 14 health. So 14 does not go into your powered punch, 70 does not go into your powered punch. It's the 80% damage that you block / mitigated that goes towards your empowered punch. That's how it works. There is a few reasons to use this ability, but one of them stands out the most. The first and best reason on using power block is to get an empowered punch. Once you block 90 damage, your next punch becomes empowered. Empowered Punch is Doom's strongest ability right now, and your main objective as Doomfist is to get Empowered Punch as many times as you can because you can punch an enemy into a wall and you can get a free kill out of it, and it also creates a ton of space and also denies a ton of space. I'll get into more details with Empowered Punch later. The second reason is you're about to die or about to take a lot of incoming damage. Using it defensively is okay at most, but usually if you're caught in a bad situation, relying on power block is not a good idea because you can easily kill Doomfist because he moves slow and he's easy to hit. Try to make sure you're cycling your cooldowns properly so you can have at least one ability to escape with. The third reason is you're protecting a teammate. Let's say your teammate got slapped or your mercy is going for res. You can stand in front of your teammate and use your power block to absorb any incoming damage that's coming towards them. This is a bit difficult to pull off because you have to be at the right place at the right time. The fourth reason is using it to cancel your slam to gain maximum height. Generally, you want to use your punch because it's on a shorter cooldown, but it is an option for very specific situations. Rocket Punch. There's two variations of Rocket Punch. There's the normal variation and the empowered variation. Let's start with the damage. The normal variation of this punch can do 25 to 50 damage on the initial hit. And if you manage to punch your enemy into a wall, they will take an extra 10 to 30 damage on top of a 0.25 second stun. The damage of your punch and wall impact scales based on how much you charge your punch. The empowered variation is slightly different. His empowered punch does 50% more damage. That means you'll do 50% more damage when you initially punch the enemy and 50% more damage upon wall impact. So in total, his empowered punch can do 37.5 to 75 damage on the initial impact, and if you manage to punch an enemy into a wall, they will take an extra 15 to 45 damage on top of a 0.25 to a 0.75 second stun. The damage of your punch, wall impact, and wall stun effect scales based on how much you charged your punch. What else does normal punch do aside from damage? Both variations of the punch stuns the enemy on the initial hit.
Dodge this.
The more charge you have on your punch, the further your enemies will get knocked back.
This is your warning.
The more charge you have on your punch, the more distance you will cover. The empowered variation travels faster and further than the normal punch. The normal variation can hit more than one enemy if they are close together. The empowered punch can do the same, but in an extreme form. Let me show you an example. Normal punch cannot do this.
Face me. Dodge this. This is your warning. Face me.
Even though these bots didn't move, you can hit enemies that are floating in the air. For some reason, some players think that empowered punch will hit an enemy if you miss. It does not work that way. You have to hit at least one enemy for the massive knockback effect to be applied. Doomfist ultimate. Before I even explain his ultimate, you need to understand that it's a really bad ultimate. Now that I got that out of the way, let's explain what it does and how it works. When you activate Doom's ultimate, you go up in the air for a few seconds, and during this time, you can't take any damage or contest an objective. When you land down with your ultimate, you will deal damage to your enemies, gain overhealth, and gain a free empowered punch. Doom's ultimate also has a slow effect, so if you deal any sort of damage with his ultimate, you will slow down your enemies. The center of your ultimate does 300 damage, so you can one-shot most squishy heroes, but it is difficult to land, so just be careful with that. Now I'm going to show you how to climb on top of buildings with Doom's ultimate. So when you activate Doom's ultimate, you'll have a button on the right side where it says zoom out. If you hold that button, you can actually climb on top of buildings and bridges and all of that, and into windows. So here's another example. Look, if I enter through this doorway, I'm not going on top of the tower. If I zoom out and enter the doorway, you can see I'm now on top of the tower. So yeah, that's how you climb on top of buildings with Doom's ultimate. And if you didn't know, Doom's ultimate can stop dot damage, damage over time, like Ash's TNT, Ana's primary fire, Widow's poison, and it also cleanses things. So if Ana throws a nade at you and you want to get rid of the anti-nade, you can use your ultimate and land down right away and the anti is gone. Same thing works with Widow's poison. If she has wall hacks on you, you can use your ultimate and then land down and she doesn't have wall hacks on you anymore. Sombra's hack now gives wall hacks to her team, so if you use your ultimate and land down right away, it'll cleanse the hack effect, which means the enemy team can't see you through walls anymore. You can also use Doom's ultimate to remove anything that sticks to you. So for example, when Tracer uses her ultimate on you, you can activate your ultimate to drop her ultimate onto the ground. You can actually kill her with this. Same thing applies to Echo and Cassidy. When you're in Doom's ultimate, your cooldowns come back much faster than normal. So what I would recommend you do before you activate your ultimate is commit all of your abilities. That way when you go in your ultimate, you can get all your cooldowns back and then you can commit all your abilities again. There's one thing that you should learn on Doomfist, and that is inputting primary fires between every single ability. So for example, if you're ever going to charge your punch at somebody, shoot your primary fire and then charge your punch. Right? If you're ever going to slam at an enemy, don't just slam at the enemy. Shoot your primary fire and then slam at the enemy. If you're ever going to use your block ability, shoot your primary fire and then use your block ability. You want to cycle your primary fires before you use an ability. It's free damage, including your ultimate. If you're going to use your ultimate, shoot your primary fire, activate your ultimate. You're missing out on free damage if you're not doing this. So for example, I'm going to shoot, slam, shoot, punch, shoot, block. Let's say the soldier charged up my rocket punch, then I could shoot, and then I could punch, and then I could shoot, and then activate my ultimate. You see how I'm inputting primary fires before each ability? You want to make sure you're doing that because, like I said, it's free damage. You don't want to miss out on that. So this tip might not work in your elo, but give it a try and see how enemies react to it. The strongest thing on Doom right now is this empowered punch. When enemies see Doomfist with a glowing gauntlet, your enemies will respect you more and play a bit more safe until you use your punch. We can actually abuse this. If you have empowered punch, pretend you're about to use it, but then cancel it. You can repeat this over and over, and you can see in this clip, enemies did not want to push out this choke at all. When Doom has an empowered punch, he becomes a threatening character. They don't want to push because I have it. They're just so scared. He's gonna grab though. Now that you have a better understanding on how Doom abilities work and what they do, now I can try to start explaining how to get value out of the character and how to get value out of your abilities. This is the part where most Doom players struggle the most because they have no idea what to do on the character to get value. There's many things you can do on Doomfist to get value out of the character, and those list of things kind of just depends on the situation you're in, and it's your job to figure that out. So what I'm going to be showing you here is a bunch of clips of me getting value out of Doomfist and explain why I'm doing what I'm doing and why it's working. Here is a list of things you can do on Doomfist that get value out of your hero. Hopefully I'm not missing anything important, but let's get into it. Let's take a look of a clip where I am creating and denying enemy space. So in this clip right here, I'm on attack and the enemy team is on defense. So let's see what happens here. So they're in the train, I punched them back that way. Like, I can usually keep the enemies inside this train just by cycling my cooldowns, like my punch and block constantly. Sadly, I got hit by a rock here, I believe. Or I got slept and then hit by a rock. Or no, I didn't get hit by a rock. But anyways, we're forcing point right now. So right now, my job is to not let them get on point. That's all I have to do. And the best way for me to do that is to punch the enemies over and over and over. So who on their team is going to be coming to point? Their soldier? No, he's a range hero. He's going to be shooting from afar. There's Symmetra? Possibly. She has a TP. She could probably do some plays with it. Mercy? Not really. It's Sigma. Sigma is going to be the only person that's going to be coming towards point, right? Because he's a tank, that's his job. He's going to need to put pressure on point. But I'm not going to let him do that. I'm going to use my punch over and over and over and not let him capture the point, or at least contest the point, not capture. But you can see I'm cycling my cooldowns here. I'm getting my block to get my powered punch. I'm using my slam to try to live and get some shields. And I am playing behind this object right here for cover. You can see Sigma is kind of pushing towards the point, and look what I do. I punch him. He's not on point anymore, and I'm using this right here as cover, and I'm just doing that every single time. I don't want him to get on point. So he's coming to point again, punch him off. And now we captured the objective because of that. So in this clip right here, the best thing for me to get value out of this character was to just create and deny space. I don't need to punch anybody off high ground. I don't need to dive their soldier on the high ground. I don't need to do any of that. I don't need to get empowered punch and go for a kill. I just need to capture this objective, and the best way for me to do that is to not let the Sigma get on the objective, and that's me punching him over and over and over, and we capture the objective because of that. Here's another clip where I am creating and denying space and also trying to go for kills, because if you go for kills, you can usually win fights more easily because it's 5v5 now. Picks matter a lot more. So let's check this clip out here. What I'm going to be doing here is not let them push towards the objective, right? That is my goal right now. So let's see what I do here. So Zarya is obviously trying to push up, and I just punch her back. See, it's simple. Now I use my block. They all shoot me. I get my empowered punch, and now I can punch them all back again. So look, Zarya's trying to push again. I punch them all back. I'm denying their space here. And now I'm trying to go for a pick, but it's really difficult because I kind of just take a bunch of damage. But let's try it again. See, I'm punching the Zarya back. I just keep punching her over and over and just denying her space. She has to constantly walk over here. I'm not letting her control the space. Let's see what I do here. I get empowered punch, and I want to try to go for a kill here. So I'm going to go for an empowered punch, and I'm ignoring the Zarya and going straight for the Sojourn. And I try to land my shots, but because of the head tilt back, I kind of just missed my shot, skill issue. But I tried to go for a Sojourn kill, which I could have easily done, right? If I just landed my primaries better, I could have easily killed her. But I didn't kill her, and I wanted to escape instead because I don't want to die here. Zarya is pretty charged up, and I'm literally inside their whole team, and we're also down our Sojourn. So I want to get out. So I use my slam to get out, and I try to maximize my slam by hitting as many people as I can, and I actually killed Sojourn because of that. See? Free kill. And now Mercy might have to go for a res, and I could just constantly, it's just a cycle, right? They push towards my team, I punch them, they push towards my team, I punch them, I'm denying their space, I'm also creating space, and if I can get an empowered punch, I try to go for a kill, and I try to pick the right target to go for a kill. Like Sojourn is a really important target because she can hard carry games, and her ultimate is pretty much game winning almost every single time. So target priority. Obviously supports is really good as well, but this is another example of me using my punch to create and deny space, even though I'm not dealing that much damage. I'm going to show you a very short clip where I am denying enemy space because it was an easy read. Look at this Tracer, right? She's shooting at my team. Look at this Diva matrixing my team. And then look at this Genji going towards my team, right? It was very obvious to me that they're about to dive my team, right? Like it looks like they're set up for it. So what I do is I fall back towards my team and I slam up here because just in case if they went on the high ground right when I slam, I could deal damage to them and gain shields for it. And I just punched them. Look, I just punched them off high ground and that's it. They got no value out of their push. So let's say I never went up to this high ground, they could have easily killed somebody on my team. Genji could have probably got like a bunch of resets, maybe got a bunch of kills, but I just denied their space. Really easy to do. So in this clip, I want you to try to figure out on your own before I explain it what I'm going to be doing to get value out of Doomfist here. So on the top left, you can see all the things I can do on Doomfist that get value out of my hero, and it's my job to understand which one of these things is going to get value out of my hero and which one's going to maximize the value. So in this situation here, I punch onto this high ground mainly to try to get empowered punch, right? Because if you have empowered punch, you can usually go for a kill or make plays with it. And obviously I get the empowered punch. Me coming up here wasn't just for that, it was for information. So the information I got was Bap is on this high ground alone, Soldier is on this high ground, Zarya is on this high ground, Mercy and Pharah are chilling in the air, right? I can't do anything to Mercy and Pharah, not really. I can do things to Soldier, right? I could probably kill him or go for empowered punch or get him off the high ground if he positions in a poorly way. Now Bap. Now you might think I can maybe use my slam, get to the Bap, punch him into a wall, and kill him, right? Well, they have Zarya. Zarya can just turn around and bubble him, right? I can just get beamed down by Soldier, and Pharah can just boot me off the high ground. It's not going to be too worth it, like, kill him, right? I can punch him off the high ground, and now he can't heal his team. He has vertical mobility. He could just jump back on the high ground with ease. And our team is on the low ground. I don't necessarily need to do any of those things, right? I don't need to create or deny space. Going for kills is going to be very rough. I don't need to like bait abilities or distract anyone. Like I don't need to do any of that. But what I can do is, I don't know if you figured it out yet, I could punch somebody into a bad position. And that would most likely be the enemy's Zarya. So where do you think I should punch it, right? I can punch the Zarya off of high ground once I get my slam cooldown back. It would be very easy. Do you think I should punch her towards her team or towards my team? The maximum value out of this situation would be punch her towards my team and we kill her. It's free. So let's see what I do here as Doomfist. So I'm trying to see how should I execute this play, because I'm like thinking like what to do, right? I go for a slam, I cancel my slam by charging my punch, and then look at this. Amazing punch right here. Off the high ground, I ping the Zarya, right? You want to make sure you're pinging your enemies so everybody can look at them. I'm calling out in comms, I'm saying everybody look at the Zarya, shoot the Zarya, like I'm just telling my team to shoot her, and look at her. Dead. That's it. Their Zarya is gone. That's it. Their only tank is gone. I got so much value out of my hero just by making that play. It is your job to know the list of things that you can do on Doomfist that give value and know which one gets the most value in the exact situation you're in, your winning condition, right? You need to figure that out on your own. And that's the hard part. That's all game sense from there. I just want to show you two short clips of me punching enemies into a bad position. So you can see there's Hanzo here all by himself. I can definitely go for a kill, right? Because like Doomfist can usually 1v1 most targets. So that's what I do, right? I go for the Hanzo. And what I decided to do is punch him towards my team. That's all I have to do. Look, I punch him towards my team. And then he just gets deleted. Easy. Punch him in a bad position. You might think like, oh, I just punched the Hanzo. I did 20 damage. Ha ha ha. This hero sucks. I punched him in a bad position. I got value out of my hero, even though it doesn't seem like it. Because if you don't understand what gets value out of the hero, it doesn't feel like you're getting value out of the hero. Especially if you're a DPS Doom main and you don't understand how to play tank Doom. Your mindset is, oh, I got a kill. I got value. That's not how this game works. This game is much more than just, I got a kill. I got value, right? This game's a game of chess, but I'm not going to get into all of that. So in this clip, we pretty much won the fight. We're just kind of cleaning up, but I just want to show you something really important. So this soldier is running away, and if we make an educated guess, where do you think he's going to run away? You think he's going to take the long way and go all the way around? I don't think so, right? Most likely he's going to try to go up these stairs, and look what their soldier did. I'm not the soldier. Look what their Kiriko did. She made an awful mistake. She teleported to the soldier. Terrible mistake on her end. And look what I'm doing. I'm slamming onto this high ground. I'm not going to let them get up onto this high ground, right? This high ground is where they want to go, and I'm going to tell them, no, you can't go up here. I'm not going to let them. So I'm going to slam over here. I got the slam damage. That's fine. That's cool, right? It's 50 damage. It's not too big of a deal, but like it still puts a lot of pressure on them. And then I punched them off this high ground. And now they're forced to take the long route, and my team can just start shooting at them for free. If I didn't make this play right here, there's a very high chance they would have lived, right? Because they have mobility, they Suzu, peeling, all of that stuff, right? It was just a very easy read for me. I know they're going to come up here. I'm not going to let them come up here. So that's it. And then I just go for the kills, right? I try to finish them off because they're one. And now it's gonna take them longer to come out of spawn. So that's value. I got value out of Doomfist even though it felt like I didn't do much. Diving lonely targets. Like I said earlier, Doomfist can usually take most 1v1s against almost any hero, kinda. It depends how you play it, but you can usually take over targets that are in bad positions or alone. You can punch them very easily. So here's another clip. We pretty much won the fight already, and I hear a Sojourn throw her grenade ability, and she's just over here chilling, right? We won the fight. I know she's alone. She's not going to get any help. I have so much mobility, she's not going to be able to do anything about it. So I instantly dive her. Obviously, there's a very high chance she has her shift mobility, right? The little slide thing. So I didn't want to like go for a slam right away, even though it's on cooldown. But let's say it wasn't on cooldown. I didn't want to go for a slam right away because if I slam at her, she just slides away, and then what am I gonna do? Shoot my shotgun primary at a range? I'm not gonna win that, right? So I'm gonna punch at her, shoot my primaries, and get her to use her slide ability. That way, after she slides, I slam at her. That way, I close the distance and I win the fight, right? The fight's in my favor. So even though me and Tracer are kind of bullying her, but you can see lonely target, easy dive kill. Now I'm going to be talking about empowered punches. Usually you want to farm empowered punch as many times as you can because it's the strongest thing in Doom's kit, right? It's better to have it than to not have it. That way you have more options when choosing these lists of things to engage with your enemies, right? Like to get value out of Doom. So in this clip right here, I actually lost both of my DPS, which means we have little to no damage, right? It's just me, Ana, and a Moira. Our Moira eventually dies, so it's just me and Ana at this point. So my job here is to get kills, right? If we look at the list of things that I have on the top left, right? Creating and denying space in this situation isn't really going to do much. Let's check out the other options. We can bait abilities or distract. We don't need to do that. We need to capture this objective. There's no lonely target. There's nobody punch into a bad position or off the map. We just have no DPS. I have to do the DPS on our team, right? And the best way for me to do the DPS on my team is to get empowered punch and go for kills with it. So that's exactly what I do here. But I'm going to show you how to execute a good empowered punch. So let's continue with this clip. So this is actually a very poorly timed block. I should have timed this better, but they still fed my block, which is good. So I got my empowered punch here. I activated my slam because what I want to do, let me go back a little bit. If I have empowered punch, right? Who am I gonna punch, right? Am I gonna punch Sigma back there? Like what's gonna happen? He moves like 6 feet backwards. That's not value, right? That's a waste of empowered punch. I could punch Sojourn or Tracer into this wall back here, but that is very risky and hard to pull off because they're gonna see it coming and they can react to it in their mobility heroes, and there's a chance that they won't interact with this wall and I might be a little too far to land my primary fires to kill them into that wall, right? So what do I do here? I have my ultimate, I have my slam, and I have my punch. I commit my slam for mobility, right? And I use it to punch them into this wall here because what I'm doing here, this combo of slam and punch, is hard to react to. This is just the best way I can get value out of my empowered punch. So I just have to punch one person. I don't want to punch between them. I want to make sure I hit one person. If the other person is close enough, they're both going to get hit. So I punch Tracer here, and look, the Sojourn gets hit with her. Make sure you're not trying to punch between an enemy, right? Because it looks like that's how empowered punch works. Like you just punch a general area and it pushes everybody back. No, you have to hit an enemy and then it pushes everybody back. So I punched a Tracer, and I went for Tracer because she is a lower HP target and she's easier to kill, so I went for the Tracer instead of the Sojourn. That's like the target priority part. Obviously Sojourn is a better hero than Tracer, but I just chose Tracer, just way more easier to kill, and then I went for Soldier next and I got both kills, just like that. You have to land those primary fires and those headshots. I just got 2 kills, and now the fight is in my favor. It's me and Ana only against a Sigma. Now I'm going to win this fight easily, so that's how I got value out of my Empowered Punch, and that's why I chose to get Empowered Punch, to get value in this exact situation that I'm in. In this clip, I'm going to be showing you target priority with empowered punches and how I am inputting primary fires before an ability, so you could just see everything that I taught in this guide being applied into this clip. So let's check this clip out. So this Zarya just kept feeding my block for some reason. They don't understand how block works. So I'm obviously trying to go for a kill here. I was trying to go for a diag on this Genji because I like to go for meme plays and go for rollouts because it's fun and challenging. I didn't really get a like, it was like if I got a diag, it was like the tiniest diag ever. But we kill Genji, that's cool. Zarya starts charging me up again. Now look what I do here. I have my ultimate. I have my slam and I have my punch. So what do you think I'm gonna do? Am I gonna punch the Zarya into a wall? I could, right? I could slam cancel and then punch her into the wall and shoot primaries at her, but there's a high chance she's not gonna die. So what do? I slam towards Zen, and what do I see? I see an Ana shoot her primary at the Zarya. Okay? So now I have another target. I have a Zen and I have an Ana. Now, I charge my punch and I'm looking at the Zen, but if I punch the Zen, there's a chance that he's not going to impact the wall here, and it's going to be difficult. And there's also going to be a problem where, let's say I did impact him at this wall right here, right? There's Zarya can basically bubble the Zen to protect him. The Ana can easily throw a nade at me and the Zen to heal him. The Ana can sleep me. So there's a chance that I might lose the fight if I go for the Zen. This is why I swapped to my target to Ana. See? This Ana was my target now. I didn't know she was there until she shot that primary at the Zarya, so I swapped my target from Zen to Ana, and then I kill Ana, and she's dead, and then I have my ultimate only for an escape. But what's also really important that I chose this spot. If I punch somebody into this corner here, I have this giant wall for cover, right? If I punch this into this wall, I have little to no cover, right? I'm out in the open, I can get hit by anybody. But if I'm in this corner, I can actually play around this wall for cover. So this position right here is just better for me in general, especially if I have no movement abilities aside from my ultimate. So I go for this Ana, get the kill, easy, and then look who comes at me. Tracer. What do you think I'm gonna do? Activate my ultimate? No, I shoot and then activate my ultimate. And look what happens. Tracer's dead. Let's watch that again. Shoot and ult. Look, I I talked about shooting before using every single ability, including your ultimate, earlier in this guide, and look at that. It just got me a free kill. Imagine if you're not doing that. That Tracer would be alive right now. Maybe that Tracer flanked and pulse bombed 3 people in your backline, right? These little things that you do in the game play a huge role throughout the fight. So it's really important to do that. So at this point, I probably should have went for Zen instead of Zarya, but it honestly doesn't matter. I kind of just kill both. I punched them for shields, right? Because you get shields for hitting them because I'm low HP. Slammed them all for shields. Zen dies to Sojourn. So at this point, it's just cleanup, right? Zarya continuously feed my empowered punch. She notice how I here. Let me go back here real quick. So I'm charging my punch here. I have empowered punch, but if I punch her, I'm not going to get any value. Because right now, if I punch her, I'm just going to push her back. It just kind of creates space between me and Zarya. So I can punch her into a safety spot where she can't kill me and I can't kill her. But what I was trying to do is wait. I was trying to like stall my punch as long as I can for her to walk into a bad position, which she did. And I punished her for it because I punched her into a wall and we pretty much kill her because of that. Let's say she never walked in this location for me to punch her into the wall. Worst thing comes to worst, I just punch her back and then I walk away, and then we both stay alive. The next thing I want to talk about is stalling the objective. As Doomfist, stalling the objective is extremely valuable, and the best way you want to play it is to focus on living and use your punch to punch the tanks back and punch the enemies back, and use your slam to either escape or to build shields. You just want to focus on living. So you can see in this clip right here, I'm just constantly stalling this objective, right? I'm not letting them pass this choke because no matter what, I can always push them back and we can just hold this point practically forever if everything plays out right. So you could just see I'm just avoiding this hug, and like he comes on top of the car, and that's when he can kind of get me. So I do want to try to punch him off when I get the chance, but it's a little difficult. But yeah, you can see I punch him off. They're trying to hack me at the same time. I get hacked, but it doesn't really matter. Like, see, they can't they can't do anything to me. Like, I could just play this point forever. And look at my health right now. Look at all the shields I'm building. They just can't do anything to me. And you could just do this forever. It's just really important to learn how to do this at every tight choke on every single map. So you can see that they're trying to rotate on top now, the hog. Because like what they're doing is not working. Like it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna let them make it work. The only way they're gonna win this is if they use ultimates, which is how they actually won this. They used their ultimates. Hog pushed me back and I died. So yeah, you can see that like now they're trying to figure out how to play against this. Like you can see the Sombra's putting pressure on me on the left, which is really bad. Our Brig pushes into her, which is dope, and she kills her, but it's a little too late for all of that. We kind of lose this fight, especially with this hog ult. Like it just kills me. Stalling the objective, very important on Doom. Give it a try. Now I'm going to be talking about baiting abilities and distracting. This is very useful if you just want to get the attention of your enemies, or if you want to bait out their abilities so your teammates can use their ultimates safely. So for example, let's say Genji has Blade. The only thing on the enemy team that can stop Blade is Ana Sleep. You can easily bait out Ana Sleep, call it out, and now your Genji can Blade for free. So it's like little things like that. Here's an example where I easily baited out Hog Hook and Cassidy Nade. You can see I pretend I go in and then I punch out, and look at that. Hog used his hook and our Cass uses nade. Now they're down both of their abilities, and now my team can safely use their ultimates. This is just an example clip. Like I went for this just for this example. So yeah, you could easily bait out abilities as Doomfist because you can make your character seem like you're about to be predictable, and then make yourself not predictable. Baiting out abilities is very useful for Doom. Here's another clip where I baited out Zarya's abilities, which is her bubbles. So she fed my power block here for some reason, and I charged my punch and looked at the Zarya. What do you think the Zarya is going to do? Like, if you're playing in a low elo, right? What do you think the Zarya is going to do? She's probably going to bubble, but you're not going to punch her. Look. She bubbles, I cancel my punch. Now her bubble is gone. One bubble's down. Now I slam at her because my goal here was to get out her other bubble. Now what I should have done here was actually cancel my slam to bait out her bubble again instead of slamming her bubble, because slamming her bubble is not a good thing because I give her charge and I don't want to do that. So I should have canceled my slam, but it's okay. Our Tracer pulse bombed the Zarya, but it doesn't matter. She has no bubbles now, and we're all looking at the Zarya. She's dead. It doesn't matter at this point. She's not going to get any support. It's just not going to happen. She just dies. And that's because I got her bubbles out by baiting them out. I have control over her bubbles. I'm not letting her have control over her bubbles. I'm going to have control over her bubbles. Here's another clip where I bait out Zarya abilities. Very easy to do. You could see she used one bubble. I slam, and I pretend I'm going to slam, and I cancel it. Look. See, I cancel it. She wasted her bubble. She gets no charge out of it. And then once her bubble's out, I just punch her away, and now she's not on the payload anymore. So you could see I have control over this Zarya's bubbles based on how I use my abilities and play around her cooldowns. The next thing I'm going to be showing you is distracting. You can distract on Doomfist and actually get a lot of value just because you have so much mobility. So in this clip, I'm going in their backline to get their attention. So I'm just doing funny rollouts. And my character is very loud, so they can hear me. And now you can see their team right now, at least their hog is looking at me. Look at that, he was looking at me. He's not looking at my team anymore, he's looking at me. I shoot my primary fire so I can get everybody's attention to let them know I'm over here. And then I punch over here because it's just better for me. I can have more visuals of the enemy team instead of that position I was at. And I'm trying to shoot more primary fires to get their attention. Even if I'm not hitting them, like I'm trying to hit them just to get the damage in. But you can see I'm getting their attention. I don't want to get hooked. I'm playing very safe because I don't want to get hooked. And look what happens. They're paying attention to me, and now they're starting to fall back, but look what happened. It's too late. Their Mei died. Their Mei did not know that I was in their backline distracting them, and their Mei got killed because of it. Now let's say I never went in their backline. Let's say I was playing at the usual choke. Their whole team would be here looking at my team. Our team would be looking at their team. We would have never got this pick. And now is my opportunity to go in because I believe he hooked my teammates, or he hooked somebody, and then he healed, and I just canceled his heals, and then we pretty much actually won the fight here, but I mean, I didn't get to push him back as far as I wanted to. But that's okay. We got the pick because I distracted them in their backline. Very, very useful. That is the end of the Doomfist guide. If you found it helpful in any way, feel free to drop a like on the video. If you have any questions, drop a comment. I will try to get to you, but no promises. If you're interested in more Doomfist content, then feel free to subscribe. I usually upload gameplay videos, montages, streamer reactions, guides, and other random stuff. And if you didn't know, I do stream on Twitch almost daily, so if you want to watch me play some Overwatch, then come stop by. I also have other socials like a Discord, Twitter, and TikTok. All that stuff will be in the description. And if you are interested in being part of the Doomfist community, I will link the Doomfist Mains Discord and the Doomfist Mains Reddit page and Doomfist Rollouts Reddit page in the description of the video. So feel free to join those. Anyways, thanks for watching.